What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing today? So, I planned on making this video, but a few people asked me already to make it. And I was waiting for, because what we had originally gotten is this. This is Comtools' website. And this is all we got. They really didn't say anything about it. They talked about this over here and all this stuff. By the way, guys, I don't know if I'm the only one with this problem, but I apparently can't open their attachments. And on any computer, I've tried on a few. But luckily, I have other ways of seeing their pictures. So the first thing I'm going to talk about, and this is actually pretty cool. I'm happy about this. They're basically buffing the free-to-play players, which is a good thing, alright? Previously, on day 3, we never got energy. I don't remember ever receiving energy from any of the dailies. I remember receiving mana, unknown scrolls. Like, they got rid of the unknown scrolls, thank God. So now, we get energy, 30 crystals. Usually it's crystals along the way over here on these 3 weeks. And you get a monster of their choice, light and dark. So now they're giving everybody a light and dark scroll, which this is a buff, honestly, especially for the free-to-play players. This is a buff for everybody, but this is big for all of the free-to-play players. Look at this. They're giving a 12-hour experience booster. That's huge for everyone. All right. I personally like the 12-hour boosters, so I've been telling people that pretty much the free-to-play players, they got a buff, and it's true. And I don't know how many times I'm going to repeat it, but you see this on day 12. People are going to be pulling Chmelar, Zyros, Perna, Leica. You think they're going to pull it, natural 5-star. By day 21. They're gonna be on their XP booster. They're gonna 6-star their new 5-star on day 21, and then on day 24 they're gonna summon Zaratu or the Light Valk or something else. Either that or Amandarian or something or Beladion. It's either you're gonna summon something you can't farm, or that's a 5-star, or you're gonna summon a farmable monster. I don't really see it in between, and I'm not even joking, guys. So, anyway, this is pretty cool. This is cool. I like this. Pretty much they're trying to keep the free-to-play players to keep playing, which is a very good thing. The other thing they're doing is, this is the new boss for TOA 100. We don't know her skills yet. Obviously, I'm going to find out the first day it comes out. So people have also been asking me to make a farmable TOA team from 1 through 100, but you know what? I don't think it's gonna happen, guys. I'm sorry. The way it looks is, I think they're changing all of the boards. They're revamping all of the boards on Trial of Ascension. I don't think they're only gonna revamp floor 100, because it's actually getting pretty stale, and everybody knows everybody that has beaten it already knows the strategy. So I'll try and make some for the next Trial of Ascension, but I don't see it happening for this one right now. I really don't. Sorry about that, guys, whoever was waiting for it. So another thing these are very big buffs. So we're going to talk in English because they have like a whole bunch of languages over here. At some point I was reading this and I thought they did something to the leader skills, and they didn't. So, and that's the Spanish translation. So anyways. This is just to fix some mistranslations. So this isn't really a big deal over here. Let's go on. New skills have been included to the existing monsters. Sword of the Supreme Wolf. I have no idea if this is a single target or an AoE, but it sounds pretty cool. And the way they did it, we'll talk about it when we get to it in the list. The way they did it is actually really, really cool. So we'll talk about that in a minute. The Cowgirl, fire, explosive bullet. The issue of harmful effect not having a higher chance of activating when the skill level increases has been resolved. The issue of the stun effect, explosive bullet, being 2 turns has been fixed. Okay, I have no idea what that was all about, but it's self-explanatory. The Oracle. This is they're fixing issues. They're just fixing bugs with this. Until the end of the turn, glancing hit comes off. Same thing with the Ifrit. The water. This is actually good. Somebody was telling me about this, and they said that they usually get a crushing hit instead of a critical hit. So they fixed this, and the critical hit does a lot more damage. So that makes this is actually very good for the water Ifrit. That makes him a lot more useful. And this is good too for the fire and water Ifrit as well. The issue of defense reduction effects not being fully applied when it is cast on the first and second hit. A 3-hit skill has been fixed. So basically, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, is if it puts weakened defense on the first turn, it's gonna on the second and third turn it's gonna hit them harder because of the weakened defense. So that's cool. The Light Chmelar. The Light Chmelar is getting a buff, which I didn't think he needed it, but okay. Someone's going to be happy. The skill is improved to stun up to 3 enemies, including the designated target, and to always heal yourself. The additional effect of healing allies when there's not enough enemies to stun remains the same. Okay. The Water Death Knight. So I don't remember what the cooldown is for this, but it's still an either or. Alright, the Water and the Dark Death Knight got this buff. Is it... I don't remember if it was a 3-turn cooldown or a 2-turn cooldown, but still, the fact that it's either attack or either defense, it's still, it's not that great. It's really not that great, guys. This is actually a pretty cool buff. His third skill, effects increases your attack bar by 50%, increases the attack bar of all allies by 30%. So this is pretty cool. That's good. The Water Monkey King, his cooldown for Alter Ego has been reduced. Damage reduction chances. So they buffed the defense also from the weakened defense from 25 to 30%. That's good. And I don't have an Ifrit yet. Hopefully I'll summon one by the end of the week. So that's all right. Yin Yang attack. So this is a nice buff for all pioneers. This is their main ability, pretty much. It's going to scale off of their max hit points. So now you can build him a little differently, and he can attack like a tankier monster better. But attackers are still going to be pretty good against him anyway. Like squishy attackers probably will do. He'll do less damage to them. He will do less damage on them. So I don't know if this is going to scale on his max HP or their max HP actually. This actually we have to, I'm not 100% sure now that I think about it, now that I'm reading it again. So we're going to have to find out about that. Damage will not, damage has been increased by 20%. The Water Pioneer, his Mountain's Power. Light Pioneer, damage is increased by 20%. Okay. The chances of removing enemy beneficial effects increase from 80 to 100. That's a big buff for the fire one. That's a big buff. Pretty much it's always going to proc. The thing is it's still not going to need accuracy, guys. The Wind one, like cool time reduced by 1 turn. That's big for I'm hearing some guys with pioneers are going to be loving this. This is actually a really big buff. If I remember this skill correctly, he steals 15% of it's an AoE. 15% of everybody's hit points. Or is it? Oh no, I'm sorry. It's to his max hit points. So I think he does 15% of his max hit points as an AoE to everybody. So or 30%, whichever one it is. All I know is that this is a nice buff because now he's going to be stealing beneficial effects. So let's say they have the Chloe shield, and he steals the shield. He's going to be doing damage to you. So that's pretty big. This is pretty cool too. So now the living armors, the water, wind, and dark, are going to all have a 50% chance to weaken defense, which that's a nice buff for all of them. That's not bad at all. This, everybody's talking about this being a nice big buff. You know, still with the Dark Ifrit, I don't know, guys. It's really not that great to me. I don't like it at all. They're just buffing the bombers for what? Because it's literally Bromo's food. Unless you bring Tessarion, and Tessarion takes his passive off. So it's not really very big deal. Then we got the Fire Fox. The Fire Ninetails, the skill has changed to apply the branding effect. According to my understanding, the branding effect adds like a 15 or 25% more damage, more damage taken. So it's almost like a weakened defense, but I don't think it's as good as weakened defense, to be honest with you. So I don't know. I really don't know about this skill over here. This one annoys me a little bit. This whole branding effect thing. This is a killer for some people that are using more than one vampire. Allies with similar passive will no longer be able to benefit from the passive skill. So pretty much you can't use double vamps anymore. Alright, this is what I wanted to get to. This is a big buff for all of the samurais. This is really what I wanted to talk about. That extra skill procs with a 10% chance on all of the samurai's first skills. Then the second skill, it has a 20% chance for the water, wind, and light. For the fire and the dark, it has a 30% chance. Then on the third skills of all of them, it has a 50% chance. So if it's a single target, which I don't know. I don't think it's going to be a single target. But if it's single target damage, that's going to be huge. First of all, I've seen a few people's water samurais buffed. They're doing like 50k damage. They're adding this. That's a little insane. You know what? I haven't really seen too many fire samurais. The fire samurai has an AoE though. Oh, and you know what though? Actually, they buffed the fire samurai's AoE a little different too. I just noticed this. I read this before. Attacks all enemies 2 times. Each attack has a 40% chance to decrease the enemy's attack power for 2 turns. That's pretty cool. That's not bad. This skill has a 50% chance to activate the Sword of the Supreme Skywolf. So that's pretty cool. If it's an AoE, his AoE is going to be hitting a lot harder. Then we got Thunder Wield. The damage increases. This skill has a 50% chance. Alright. So all of the samurais are getting a huge buff. Enormous buff over here. So this pretty much, each attack has a 25% increased damage if the enemy is under weakening effects. Wow. Wow. The light and the dark ones got a nice buff as well. Attacks all enemies 2 times with Shining Sword. Each attack deals 25% increased damage if the enemy is under weakening effects and is a guaranteed critical hit. This was already on there. But this is a nice buff right here. This part. On both the light and the dark. 25% increased damage. That's going to hit really hard. The light and the dark samurai is going to be pretty scary. Not as scary as the water and the wind, to be honest with you. I'm telling you, I seen the wind one do about 50k damage as well. I saw the water one do 50k damage, buffed. Also, it is... Whoa, it's insane. So now I want to actually build a samurai. I actually have one of each of these. I have a couple of water ones, and I have a couple of wind ones. So I'm probably gonna do the wind because he has skill ups already. He's 5-star maxed. But I really want to build water and maybe fire. I don't know. I gotta see what this AOE, what kind of damage this AOE is doing. But it's very interesting. And the light and dark ones. Wow. If you got a light and dark one, guys, this right here is big. This right here is big, pretty big. If you do like an AOE freeze or an AOE, it's not for each weakening effect, but if you do an AOE freeze or something like that, wow, these samurais are going to be really, really good. So, wow, guys, these are a lot of nice buffs. A lot of nice buffs for a lot of monsters. So, yeah, they made a lot of monsters more worthwhile. I'm even thinking about building the water brownie now. Thinking about it, I'm not sure yet. But yeah, a lot of nice buffs, guys. Add weakened defense to the living armors. A lot of their skills are based off of defense as well. So the living armors are going to be hitting pretty hard. This one already hits really hard, the wind one. Now the water one. I don't know if this is an AOE skill. I don't think so though. Oh yeah, it is. Oh wow, AOE weakened defense for 2 turns. Wow, no guys, this is a really big one. This is a really, really big buff, now that I think about it. This is a really big buff, especially for the water one. The water one was pretty much almost useless at some point with his passive. I think he has a passive. Yeah, he has a passive. So, guys, this is a really nice buff for all the living armors. This is a really nice buff. Makes me want to build the Dark and the Wind one. I have a Dark one also. And he's been sitting around collecting dust for since probably a couple of like a week after the Living Armors came out. I got the Dark one in the Wish. So wow. You know what? These are really big buffs, guys. Very impressive. Comtwist is making a lot of changes. I'm still wondering what's to come. That little island on the bottom right, all the way in the corner on the right, that island is really, really getting to me. I want to know what that island is. And plus, there's another boss, the Rift of Worlds over there. That's a boss. That's a boss fight. That has bosses. I don't know what that is either. I want to know what that is. So let's see. And they're coming out with new monsters. I don't have pictures of the new monsters. And I don't think they're in this anyway. The only link that's going to work over here is this one. To follow them on Twitch. Of course, that's the only link that's going to work. But nothing else works. For some, I don't get it. See? And this is any computer I use. I don't know what it is. Maybe they just don't like the computers in New York. But thanks, guys. Have a good one.